Okay, so I like the idea of adding retail, and I like the idea of clarifying cannabis.
Okay.
That would be a recommendation.
And in the issue as written, is it supposed to be, is it important or it is important? Second sentence towards the right.
It is, I agree. It is, as opposed to. Cool. All right. And so that was first. Did we review the second recommendation here? I think this one you kind of put in all the recommendations.
Yeah, it's just saying, you know, that really, like, if the commission's gonna license
Sure.
facilities, they really should be ensuring that they're handling marijuana products.
Yep. Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments on this particular one? Yes, no? All right. Why don't we put this one to a vote? We'll start with you, Mary Ann.
Aye.
Kim Napoli, aye.
Mike Dundas, aye.
John Malone, aye.
Cheryl Lindsay, aye.
Chris Harding, aye.
Small aye.
Michael O'Toole, aye.
And on the phone, Ray?
Ray, aye.
Lindsay?
Lydia?
Lindsay.
Lydia, aye.
And
Jeannie Lewis, aye.
wonderful. Okay. That is approved. Let's keep rolling. All right,
So, this one is not approved yet, so just, uh-oh.
Did I put
Yeah.
it on? Hold on. I'm not very good with this laptop, I apologize.
No problem. So-
Let's see, so.
Okay, go back to.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is, I have to delete this approved, hold on.
Yeah, and basically, I could start right away. So the social consumption draft regulations released in December did not define what a serving size of cannabis was served in or on, and therefore made regulating serving sizes and developing standard operating procedures quite challenging for businesses.
Yep.
So the recommendation here would be that the commission should define in regulation what a serving size of cannabis is served in or on by the social consumption operator. And I came up with the definition here called an immediate use container, which means the vessel in which a social consumption operation can retail single servings or multiple single servings of marijuana to consumers for consumption or use on the premises. And, you know, I essentially put in parentheses a plate or a cup or a rolling paper, a quartz insert, a pipe bowl. Essentially, if you create a definition for an immediate use container, it suddenly opens up the possibility that when you're developing your standard operating procedures, you can really kind of like hammer it in. So it was just a thought.
I think it makes sense. I'm chuckling a little bit because Commissioner LeBeau and I are looking at each other. Non-industry people, some of these terms are not familiar to us. I don't know what a quartz insert is. Sounds like a watch. Sounds like a watch to me.
I saw it in their office. It's
What happens in the commissioner's office stays in the commissioner's office.
What if you use concentrates? And I was thinking, and they have concentrates where they heat up a nail, and you can actually get what's called a quart insert with preloaded concentrate.
My only point on this one, Michael, is Root told me, do we need to be inclusive here, all inclusive to define all the different things, or do we set a category to be defined?
Well, that's where I just said it is essentially in or on, so it could be a plate, it could be.
So we could say as examples, or e.g.
Yeah, exactly. That.
Yeah,
It
but
would
not
just-
intended to be all inclusive. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Because when you venture a guess at all of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, how are we going to regulate what it's used in? So, or how are they going to write their SOPs? So it's just like, all right, this is easier. This makes it easier.
Mary Ann?
Michael, is this like a two-part thing? Because later on you talk about what is a single serving.
Yeah, there
Okay.
is the.
So why can't we link these? And I'm not saying have it be one thing, but have it be closer in proximity to each other in the
Let me
document.
see what I put the issue was.
Because
for
the
that.
first thing you want to know is how many milligrams you're serving, and then you want to know what the vessel is in which they're served. No?
Yeah, so you're somewhat correct. I mean, I do at this point speak about, you know, that the single serving, what exactly is it? Public officials have said that the commission needs to walk before it runs. This is something we've heard repeated again and again. So essentially, the recommendation here would be that the social consumption operators are abiding by the edible marijuana products regulations that are already in existence, which include that 5 milligram limitation.
Right.
And then recommendation 2 would be to conduct a research study with the goal of determining what a single serving of inhaled marijuana is, as well as a single serving of topically applied marijuana. So
is this breaking new ground? I mean, has no one else ever gone down this path?
No one has gone down this path, and honestly, it's important, I think, because we don't have a test for OUI, so, you know, we really do need to be thinking of other methods to prevent OUI and over-intoxication in general. So having this type of a thing, you know, could essentially, I believe, spread to other states and other countries once it is implemented. So if Massachusetts were to engage in the research and, you know, implement it, it would certainly be, I think, a first. So
I kind of like Mary Ann's recommendation, if we linked what is slide 13 and slide 6 together, because they kind of go hand in hand. We just discussed it. Why don't we go back to slide 6, which is the original draft, and talking about the commission should define in regulation what a serving size of cannabis is served in or on. So, does everyone understand the issue here?
Yes.
Okay. Does everyone understand the recommendation or have any questions?
I deleted the recommendations.
Okay.
we have it on our sheet.
I guess I have a
don't worry.
question. On slide 13, we're talking about what a single serving size is, and I get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why are then we concerned, so one, if we establish what the serving size is, and it has to be contained in some unit, why do we have to define the unit? I just don't
Because
get
in
that.
some cases, there might be multiple servings, and so how do you institute as well a means to talk about multiple servings being used at the same time? In immediate use container, you can talk, well, the limit is like, you know, 2 servings of marijuana in this immediate use container. We really don't know what the serving size that the commission is going to come up with, and therefore we don't want to necessarily limit how many servings they can consume at one time.
Right, that's up to the commission to make.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're defined the single serving, but now you're saying, well, how many single servings? Like I go into a bar to get a beer, well, I can have 3 beers. So you're setting it up to say, I'm not just gonna buy a 12-ounce beer, but I might get myself one of those big, tall glasses.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it creates a, and when I was thinking about writing SOPs for this type of a business, this is what I was thinking of, like, if there's nothing in the regs that essentially, that I can easily define what I'm gonna serve the multiple servings, or even single servings on, essentially, so.
Okay.
Because we don't know, like, if they rule that like 0.15 grams is a single serve of flower inhaled cannabis, it might take several servings to even roll a joint with that, if that makes sense, you know, so you would need a immediate use container to establish a means to have multiple servings and, you know, easily develop an operational process around it, I guess.
Are we going too far?
I just, you know, like they say, I think this is a smart way of doing it, but I could
No, I
be totally
hear you.
off my kilter.
Being being as prescriptive, I get it, because if a single serving has been defined, and now we need to say, okay, well, you need a delivery vehicle for that single serving, and that could have multiple single servings on that. I get that, but are we going too far?
Well, I think that what we're seeing here, right, is a response to the public health and public safety concerns that we've heard here tonight, right?
Okay.
Clearly, social consumption exists around the country, and it exists without limiting serving sizes and people going in and being responsible for their own safety, like we expect adults to do and be every day, right? So I think that what we see from our group is an attempt to create some kind of controls and parameters around this process so that people who aren't comfortable with moving forward with social consumption feel more comfortable.
Yes, that's very much what this intends to do, and try and, you know, like Chief Carmichael and others are very concerned about this, so I just wanted to take it very seriously. Okay, so that's all.
But I'm with John, I don't know why we have to get into the vessel.
Just as an example.
I would think it's relevant because if you have a social consumption site, they might do their packaging differently than a